Good evening, everybody. It's Monday night. Welcome to Garnet and Old. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. I don't like this brand I got up on me here. I need to fix this. There's only one of me tonight. That might be a little bit better. Ryan is busy, but there's some stuff we need to talk about tonight. And I was trying to wait until Sporadics got done, and I think they're about wrapping it up here. So I wanted to make sure we got this rolling before people started to wonder whether we were actually going to do it. We are going to do it Monday night. It's our first Monday night show in a while. This is not going to be a really long show, but I wanted to get something out there because there's a lot that happened this past weekend. There's a lot that's about to happen. And I want to make sure everybody's in the know. So if you don't mind right now, if you are watching on Facebook, great. I appreciate that. Could you also jump over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel there? And at that point, you can watch it wherever you want. But we're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. We passed the 1,000 subscriber mark about a month ago or so, and we are trying to get to 2. And I think if you've been watching this show, then you know what happens when we hit to 2,000. Ryan's wallet gets a little lighter because he's going to basically offer up a console of your choice with a copy of EA College Football 25 when that comes out. So if you don't mind, if you're watching on Facebook or on Twitter for that matter, or X, go on over to YouTube right now, hit the like button, subscribe, and do all those things because we need to get the subscriber numbers up. And Ryan and I really appreciate that. So get that going. We'll get on here, moving on with the show. All right. The first thing I wanted to talk about real quick is because I saw this a little earlier today. Let me find it here real quick and pull it up here on the screen. This made my heart happy, right? This is amazing. This is Jordan Travis taking a drop, throwing the football, and I guess this is in Jacksonville. It's not too far from me. I wish I would have known he was in town. I would have gone over to say hi and he wouldn't have known me, but that's okay. But this is amazing, and if you think back to when he got hurt, if you remember that night or that day, that was a very dismal day, and the emotion of that day, and we all kind of knew it was bad. And now fast forward to this, this is just great stuff here. So that's what I wanted to start with tonight, to make sure if you're not paying attention to this kind of thing, just in your heart, you got to know that Jordan Travis is on the mend, and he's actually looking pretty good right there. Quick little drop there and a sling there. Yeah, looking good. So that's the first thing I wanted to bring up today. Checking the comments here real quick. And remember, I'm double teaming it here, so I've got to hit all this stuff here. So if it takes me a moment to get to the comments, I apologize. But Brett Taylor was the first one in the house, the first one to click the like. So I appreciate that, Brett. Looks like we got Nick Snyder here. What's going on, Nick? Chris Johnson, good evening. Seminole Nation, good evening to you. Yeah, so just make sure we shout all those out, and we will move on. The next thing I wanted to talk about tonight is a whole lot of sweeping going on. Baseball team and the softball team. We don't talk just football here. We talk a lot of sports, right? We talk the Chiefs too. But last week, the softball team swept Notre Dame. Bravo. Congrats. And then, to another higher plane, the baseball team swept Miami. And that is a beautiful thing. It's so beautiful that we have not swept Miami and Florida in the same season. I think, what did they say, like 1960 or something like that. So it's been a really, really long time. And if you were able to watch any of those games, I want to pull up a quick shot here of let's see, where is it? Yeah, the Friday night game. Lost my, hold on one second, everybody. Pull this up. There it is. All right, let me share this real quick. Um, Friday night, if you were not aware, the Marching Chiefs were at the baseball game again. They were actually there earlier in the week for the game against Florida. And then I guess what had happened last fall, Dr. Plack had chatted with Coach Jarrett about possibly getting the Chiefs out for a game or two this season. And as luck would have it, it would be against the Gators and the Canes. So that is pretty awesome. And if you were if you happen to be lucky enough to be in the crowd when the Chiefs were there, good on you, because I don't know, when I was going to school, I don't know that I ever played at a baseball game with the Chiefs. So that must have been pretty cool. Um, but anyway, that was Friday night, and then the team wrapped up the sweep on Saturday with a little bit of rivalry fun in that game. You got to check Twitter to see all the things that went back and forth, but as an end result, there were a couple people got ejected from the game. And I guess Holbrook also has been will not be able to play in the next game. So I don't know if that happened to any of the Miami players as well. Probably should have, but at least I know from our side, Holbrook won't be able to play in the next game. So that kind of takes care of the baseball side of things and the softball side of things. And um, I'm a baseball fan. I'm a softball fan, so I like watching. And it was just, again, you know, good for the heart. It's always good for the heart when you beat the Canes, and both those teams are doing great. So moving on, let's see. Let's talk about spring games, but let's talk about spring games as it pertains to some of our rivals, or I guess they're rivals. We beat them a lot, so at some point they may not be rivals anymore, but at this point they still are. So Miami had their spring game this past weekend, and I can't recall what the stadium is. So if you're watching right now and you know what the stadium was, I don't remember the exact what the stadium was, but it wasn't anything bigger than a high school stadium, maybe a little smaller. And if you've seen any shots, any like panoramic shots of that, there weren't a lot of people there, and the Miami fans will tell you that it was invite only. I don't know if that's true or not. Uh, I'm gonna take the opportunity to troll a rival fan base when I can, just a little bit. But they're at, I guess Nick Snyder says it's their women's soccer field. Okay, so at the women's soccer field, they did not. It wasn't full. It wasn't full. I think we'll just suffice it to say that. So that is par for the course. And So whatever on that. And the other thing I wanted to mention about the spring game is that there's been a lot of stuff online about how great Cam Ward looked, and great, how great he looked. Great, good for him. But and if you're a Nole fan and you're a reasonable Nole fan, you know that spring games aren't the truth, right? They don't tell you anything per se. I mean, they might give you inklings of things. But was Cam Ward really that great? Or, is their defense not so great, right? Um, is Cam Ward the truth? or is the defense terrible? But it's probably somewhere in the middle. I've got to put this up. Nick Snyder says the soccer field has 100 yards at least. That is also true. At least, we think it does. So it's definitely bigger than their indoor practice facility. So it's important that they get out and practice on a field of regulation size. That's important. So whatever you're hearing online, again, about them, about their team, it's going to be no different, by the way, with our team on Saturday. I'm not going to come on here. Ryan's not going to come on here. Most of the people you listen to are not going to come on here and talk about, someone is, God's gift to the football world. The spring game is what it is. It's a culmination of the spring practice sessions for coaches to be able to see progress. And I don't fault, by the way, I don't fault a fan base for having hope in spring. I mean, that's when you're supposed to hope. That's when you're supposed to build all the hope up, is in the spring. Hopefully nobody's hurt, and hopefully your team does look good, right? It's pretty much a scripted thing, and so that's you can't fault them for that. But if they want to hang a banner for Cam Ward being 19 of 24 in the spring game at the women's soccer stadium, they can do it. They can do it. They have plenty of space in the IPF to hang some banners. Let's talk about now UF. And full disclosure, I didn't watch these things, right? I didn't spend any time this weekend watching a spring game of University of Florida or Miami. I had important things to do. Like I was doing yard work, cleaning the pool, whatever, things that are more important than that. So I didn't see all of this. So it's mostly, I'm just like you. I go out and read all this stuff, and I find it online. But at UF, I think the greatest thing that happened at UF at their spring game, according to the things I've seen online, is the autograph line for DJ Lagway. I mean, that's the most positivity I've seen about that game. He probably, looked good. The guy's got all kind of talent, and it just remains to be seen, just like any other talent that goes into Hogtown. Are the coaches going to be able to develop it? And are they going to be able to develop that talent fast enough where that particular talent doesn't start looking at greener pastures somewhere else? So that's what they have on them. I mean, if you think back, not that long ago for us, it was kind of the same way, right? We could bring in some talent, and the question was whether the coaching staff was what we wanted it to be in order to develop that talent and to get that talent to buy in. We're over that hump. I don't even think they're on the same street as the hump yet. And Miami might be a little closer to that, but both of those programs, haven't hit that point where there's going to be any buy-in with the coaching staff yet, because neither one of those staffs have proven it yet. Just like we used to say, we just need a proof of concept. We think Mike Norvell is the right guy. We love how he carries himself. We love how passionate he is. We love how he relates to the players. We just need a proof of concept for people to buy in. And then it happened. And then you see where we are now and what's happening now from this point. The other thing I was going to say about the UF game, there's a great still picture of, I guess they're running a special teams play. I don't know, but there's only 10 men on the field. And so at least we know that there's some consistency happening in Gainesville. It's just not the consistency that you would want. So that's all I have about the spring games. And by the way, if you're in the chat and if you want to ask a question, feel free to do so. This is the first Monday night show we've done in a while. It's a little light, and so I'm kind of solo on this here. So if you have something you would like to comment on, please do so. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is the portal. Let's talk about the portal. April 15th is not only tax day, and hopefully you got your taxes mailed off today. You got them postmarked, so the government, doesn't have another reason to come at you for something. Um, but today was the opening of the portal, and if you're following that kind of, back and forth that happens in the world of college football now, which is like a circus because of that, you know that this is going to be a crazy time. Um, Teams are only allowed to have 85 scholarship players on the roster when it comes time for the season to start. And I don't have an accurate number of where we are right now. I mean, if you look online, you can see some sites will say we have like 79, some will say we have 78. So it's kind of hard to know exactly what the numbers are. But remember, whatever that number is, we also don't have all of our incoming freshmen are not here yet. So, and I don't remember exactly how many of those are. Maybe between 8 and 10. Maybe it's 9. But there are 9 to 10 freshmen coming in the summer scholarship. So wherever we are right now, you have to add that number to that. And then, Mike Norvell is not going to just sit around and let the portal go by, right? If he's shown us anything, is that he understands how the portal works. Matter of fact, he dominates the portal, and it's a very it's like I want to say 3-legged stool or 4-legged chair. I don't know, but you've got high school recruiting, you've got transfer portal, you've got player development, and you've got player retainment, right? Those 4 things. And if we kind of tick the boxes there, transfer portal, that leg is in good standing. We've got that leg. That leg is strong. Development, that leg is strong. Player retainment, NIL looks good. Coaches have great relationships with the players. That part looks good. High school recruiting was for a little bit, we were kind of unsure, right, about whether the high school recruiting chair leg was going to be as strong as the others. It's looking pretty strong. So those are the 4 pieces of that, and they're doing very well. But I don't have names to give you of people going into the portal because, unless something has dropped here in the last 2 hours, the only one that I know of is Greedy Vance. And while that may have hurt some people to their core because they like Greedy Vance, that's just kind of the way the portal is. And I would say just get used to it. Just get used to it because, and it's not just us. Every school is probably carrying more scholarships than they should right now. So they have to shed some of those numbers. And that's every school. And so it's not just Florida State. You're going to start seeing names, and those names you might be like, I can't believe, so and so is going to leave. Why would they leave? Sometimes they leave because they've been tampered with. That doesn't happen, right? Sometimes they leave because they get bad advice. Sometimes they leave because the coaching staff is very honest with the players, and they say, it might be a good idea for you to look somewhere else. It doesn't seem to be working. I don't know the exact words they say because that's a tough conversation to have. But that happens. And as far as the bad advice is concerned, and I don't think I'm talking out of turn here, but Rodney Hill is actually back in the portal. So if you remember last year, Rodney Hill went into the portal, and then I think I'm trying to remember the exact lineup of this. Was he going to go to FAMU, but then he ended up going to Miami, but then he went back to FAMU, or maybe the first FAMU wasn't in there. I don't remember. But now he's back in the portal, and I think he even tweeted out something like that. He agrees that he had bad advice. So it's interesting that first of all, how he's very forthcoming with that, and I applaud him for that because um, you know it's not easy to say maybe you made a mistake, especially in the social media realm. Um, but we wish him all the best. And by the way, wish Greedy Vance all the best too. Never had anything but respect for what he did, how he worked, what he put on film, how he represented the team, how he was a good teammate. Um, so I wish him all the best. But and I'll just put this up here. Looks like Brett Taylor's got a good comment here. Advice to Knoll fans: 8 to 10 guys are expected to enter the portal. Do not panic. Coaches are aware of the number. Mike's got this. I agree. It's going to be 8 to 10 guys because if you think about it, we were talking about the numbers a little bit ago. We've got wherever we are, we got to get to 85, but then we have 9 to 10 incoming with freshmen that we know are coming. But Mike is also going to want to, pull people in from the portal. That um, there's a defensive tackle from Louisville, I think, that probably need to look at, um, and depending on the things that are going outbound, you may need to be shoring up some of these rooms. I would not be surprised if wide receiver, you might see someone go in the portal from that room. It's not out of the question to see another defensive back go into the portal. Offensive lineman, maybe. I mean, like I said, I don't have names, but if you look at the numbers and you look at the trajectory of someone, they came in a few years ago and maybe they haven't progressed like maybe the coaches want them to, or maybe how they think they should. Um, those are the areas that I would look to for names, but just be ready. Be ready because there's going to be names in there, and you're going to be, we're all emotionally attached to this team. There are going to be names that you're emotionally attached to, and it's gonna sting a little bit. But remember, they're doing what they think is best for them, and they should, and just wish them well on the way out to wherever it is that they go. Nick Snyder says we need to hit that Keon Coleman button. Yeah, I can you do that every year? I don't know that you can do that every year. Maybe you can. Um, this coaching staff tends to hit on the portal, so um, I wouldn't be surprised, but I also wouldn't count on it. So if anybody hears any names that are going into the portal, make sure you let me know as soon as you know, because remember, no inside info, no contacts. But if you give me the information, I won't have a problem. That'd be great. Um, Let me check the comments here real quick, see if there's anything I missed. Oh yeah, Brett Taylor says, hope the Chiefs make it a regular Friday night with the Chiefs. That would be tough to do, I think, but wouldn't that be awesome? Because think about um, somebody had mentioned on Facebook or Twitter or whatever that they wish the Chiefs were at every game. That's a lot of baseball games, and then you don't want to leave the softball team out, right? And then you don't want to leave the soccer team out, and you don't want to leave. And at some point, it's just you can't do it all. The Chiefs would want to do it all if they could, which is the whole premise of send Chiefs all the damn time. But great comment there, Brett. Um, let's see. Just going back here before we get into the spring showcase stuff. Okay, moving on. Um, let's talk about this weekend. This weekend is the spring showcase, and it is going to be a lot of fun for a number of reasons. Let's start with Friday night. Friday night, if you happen to be in Tallahassee, they're going to have an event at the Moon. If you remember what the Moon is, everybody remembers what the Moon is, right? Um, they're having an event at the Moon called the Seminole Showcase Preview. It's a ticketed event. I think the tickets are $40. Mike Norvell is going to be there, and it's a family-friendly event with to benefit the Battle's End. So whatever money is raised that evening, that money, I don't know if it's all the money or whatever, but the beneficiary of that is NIL and the Battle's End. So if you are in Tallahassee Friday night, um, I will not be, but if you are and you have nothing better to do, go on over there and find out what's going on. I'd love to hear about it. I was hoping to be able to get over there, but not going to be able to do it. Looks like we've got about 82 people watching live right now. Yep, that is what it says. And then we've got 14 people watching on YouTube. Those of you that are not watching on YouTube right now, just go on over to YouTube right now. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and then you can go back and watch it on the platform that you like. There's a reason for it. Trust me. There's a reason that we would like to have the numbers there. But we're going to continue broadcasting to all the platforms. All right. The next thing about the showcase, the tailgate. So Ryan and I mentioned this last week on the show, and we are going to be part of a large tailgate put on by James Coleman, Den Media Group, and his MFTK charity. So let me throw this thing up on the screen here real quick. And see this. This will just cycle through here. But so in lot 5 on Saturday, there's going to be a huge tailgate hosted by MFTK. And there's going to be a number of different media outlets there, including us. Ryan and I will be there. But James Coleman, he puts this on. He'll be there, along with Chris at Spiratics. He's part of this too. Big part of that. Dope Talk will be there. Renegade Report with George and Jen will be there. And then Unconquered 850. I believe that's Chip. And Ryan and I will be there. And so you're going to have all these media groups there. We're going to be doing a live show from the tailgate. And some of the other shows are going to be doing that as well. There's going to be a pretty significant contingent of former players there. And it's all you can eat and all you can drink. And I will put a link. Actually, let me put the link up on the banner. If you're interested in going, this is a link to the tailgate to get tickets to the tailgate. I'm going to throw this in the chat too. Give me one moment. It's in the chat. So if you're going to be at the showcase on Saturday, and you want to have a good time, you want to hang out with some former players, you want to eat some good food, hopefully get to meet you, and Ryan will be there too. We'll have a large contingent of Garnet and old folks there. This would be a great thing to do. And proceeds, some of the proceeds of this goes toward the MFTK charity. James Coleman does a ton of stuff for kids, and that's what that money will go to. So hopefully we'll see a lot of our listeners and watchers there. And you'll also get to meet some of the other media folks there too. It's just going to be a great time. The tailgate, I think, opens at noon or right around noon. I think on the ticket thing it says 12:15. It's in Lot 5, and Lot 5 is right outside of the stadium, and so family friendly. Bring your kids. It's going to be a great time. If you are going to the spring showcase this weekend, go ahead and let us know, or let me know by putting it in the chat there. All right, the showcase itself, it's not really a game, right? We've seen this happen for the last few years now. It's not a game. It's more of a, I mean, there are some game-like scenarios. As a matter of fact, they announced who the guest coaches are going to be for this weekend. It's going to be some members of the 1999 wire-to-wire national championship team. On offense, the coaches are going to be Peter Warwick and Travis Minor. So if you don't know those names, you should. And from the defense, it's going to be Corey Simon and Tommy Polly. So those are going to be the guest coaches for the showcase. And looking forward to that. And just being with all the Knoll family. Can't wait. After the showcase is done, we're going to go back to the tailgate and spend some more time there. And then we'll be making some plans to figure out what the rest of the evening is going to entail. As you know, Ryan guilted me into staying the night, so that is going to happen. And we will find a place locally to hang out, and we'll let everybody know where that's going to be. We haven't decided where that's going to be yet, but that's kind of the idea on the weekend. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing a lot of you there. It's pretty much all I wanted to go through tonight as a quick Monday night show. I think I hit it. The sweeps, the portal, and then plans for the showcase. Does anybody have any final questions before I wrap this up for the evening? Take a minute or so for that to come in. And while we're waiting there, I'll remind everybody there are multiple ways to support the show. If you've been with us a long time, you know about the old days, how let's just say that we've come a long way, baby. But if you want to support the show, there are multiple ways to do it. First of all, the best way, or the first way to do it, is to like and subscribe and share. Right, the more we can get this out, the better. And then, if you're in a show and you want one of your chats to show up, we're at the end of the show here, but you would super chat that, and that part of that money goes to the show here to keep the lights on. You can also Venmo. We have a Venmo directly to us as well. Again, just to make sure we keep the show going. And then we launched memberships last week. And you can find that if you're on YouTube. You can go to the join button. You can see the membership levels there. And then we also announced last week a Discord server as well. So we'll make sure all of that information is in the description on this show if you missed that from last week. But those are multiple ways to get involved. Can you believe it? This is the first show we've done in quite a while where we have not talked about the lawsuit at all. And that's always a good thing because it was getting kind of old. But we're really early with that. So like and subscribe at Garnet and Old, at Big Papa East, at VC Knoll. If you haven't done so already, please do. And we will always, as usual, wrap our show up with screw the four-letter network eternally and send Chiefs all the damn time. I appreciate everybody taking some time out of your Monday to hang out with me. And I hopefully will see you guys this weekend at the showcase. See you then. Go Noles.